There is some chatter that Spider-Man 4 is happening and that you'll be back as Spider-Man. Now we're here.
What do you want to know?
Now we're here. Now we're here. We're actually, we're touching. Now we're in the same room. Can we confirm this tonight?
It's happening.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Spider-Man 4. So today we're going to talk about some wild rumors to do with the Spider-Man 4 movie, which are pretty darn interesting if it pans out and turns out to be true. So, yo, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around and make subscribe to never miss any Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis, you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below, how freaking excited are you for Spider-Man 4? Also, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, and check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. So these articles are coming courtesy of the Cosmic Circus and also courtesy of Alex Perez. So he says something right at the end of this article, which is pretty darn obvious, seeing as the release date. The next Spider-Man film will take place after the events of Doomsday, which is kind of pretty obvious if you ask me, because we're in a multiversal saga. It's all got to piece together. So we're actually going over two articles in this video. Alex Perez has been busy talking about a lot of stuff. So he's asked questions about Spider-Man 4. So he says, this question is, I was wondering whether Null is still the villain in Spider-Man 4, because everyone basically said he was going to be the villain because of Null appearing in Venom 3. We know the Venom symbiote is still alive. So at some point, the Venom symbiote will find Eddie. So he said this, I do expect the symbiote to play a huge role near the end of the multiversal saga, i.e. Avengers Secret Wars. I wouldn't be surprised if the way we get Null is if Spider-Man died at some point in the Avengers film and was brought back thanks to the symbiote, creating a new codex for Null to hunt down. But yes, the answer is, for both right now, is yes. Now, this is interesting. For one fact, is Null is stuck on Clintar. How the frickin' hell is he supposed to get off it? So yeah, if Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Tom Holland is going to get the Venom symbiote, he would get the black suit and he would become a codex. But how the frickin' hell is he going to get off Clintar? Someone answer me that. He also got asked another question. I might be too far ahead to know anything, but is there any vibe from Sony that they've scaled down Spider-Man after Spider-Man 4 to a similar level of Homecoming, especially since the Multiverse Saga will finally be done by then? He said, yes, 100% when the Multiverse Saga is done, the idea is to go back to basics. They want to have a Devil's Reign storyline play out with Spider-Man. Interesting. So also he's asked the question about Miles Morales coming to a live action. He realistically said it depends on a lot of factors, but that's most likely realistically what's happening. So there's a new working title for Spider-Man 4. And no, this doesn't mean it's the official title, just a working title. Our sources confirm the next Spider-Man film will be filmed under the WT Blue Oasis with the production company of Blaze Films. Do not be alarmed if the name does ring any bell, as there is currently no relation to the working title with anything Marvel or Spider-Man related. Blue Oasis is the name of the color that is said to be soft, mid-toned blue to the naked eye. This might seem like a fundamental name of the color, but to some avid comic book fans, the shade of blue bears a strong resemblance to the blue utilized in the very popular, universally beloved comic run known as Spider-Man Blue. Interesting. You can observe one of the covers of Spider-Man Blue compared to Blue Oasis color palette. So, could Spider-Man 4 adopt parts of Spider-Man Blue? Obviously, it could. The story is set on Valentine's Day and presents Spider-Man who feels blue or depressed as he sits atop the Brooklyn Bridge. The story retells how Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy first met and fell in love in a beautifully told love story that melts even the coldest of hearts. I won't spoil how the rest of the story goes, but I highly recommend that everyone reads the story. There's also a huge rumor going around that obviously Spider-Man 4 takes place after the events of Avengers Doomsday, is that Spider-Man 4 is going to be set in a new reality where Peter Parker gets everything he wants. But in this universe, his love interest is actually Gwen Stacy, and it's not MJ. Going back to the article, the working title, while not the actual final title, often dropped gives clues and provides hints as to what the movie could be about. The use of Blue Oasis as the working title and colour could indicate a slight adaptation of Spider-Man Blue. But what elements could they use? Perhaps the long-awaited introduction of Gwen Stacy could be at hand here, since it's a love story between Peter and Gwen. Also, it goes on to say, there's also elements of the blue which we are certain Peter is feeling right now. By the time we reach Avengers Doomsday, we will have been at least 2 years since the events of No Way Home within the MCU. And we are sure that while being Spider-Man distracts him from his current life circumstances, being Spider-Man for 2 years all alone could have had detrimental effects on Peter during this time. Then it goes on to say, and I'm sure the film will cover what Peter has been doing for the past 2 years, trying to cope with the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. However, we do want to report that our sources confirm that once again, the events of next Spider-Man film will take place after Doomsday, meaning it will not be a prequel movie like a lot of people seem to think. Now, that is pretty darn interesting because it's like I've said, it's almost like a lot of the reports suggesting what's going to happen in Spider-Man 4 are all kind of changing on a freaking daily, weekly basis. So a lot of people seem to think that Black Cat is going to appear in this movie. I personally think it would, I mean, if it is going to follow the Blue storyline, it would make a lot of more sense for it to be Gwen Stacy. Now, there's lots of rumors going around that Doctor Doom's going to create some world where Peter will be living, and it's going to be formed by Doctor Doom at the end of Avengers Doomsday, and that's how they can tie both the movies together. He would find a new love interest, aka Gwen Stacy. The movie could follow the Spider-Man Blue arc, comic story due to the Blue Oasis working title. The story deals with Peter finding a new love, aka Gwen. The movie will be set in New York City, but evolve over time as the Earth that Doctor Doom formed will be constantly be changing. Now, if that is the case, that would be interesting, because if this is going to happen, it would almost have to be the case that Doctor Doom, played Robert Downey Jr., has already met in Avengers Doomsday. And obviously, if Avengers Doomsday ends with Doom creating a complete new world for Peter Parker, that would be freaking insane, because that would bring more people who are not necessarily big Spider-Man fans in order to actually watch Spider-Man 4. And there's other reports. Spider-Man 4 will feature an epic showdown as Tom Holland Spider-Man faces off against the infamous Doctor Doom. I don't know if that's true, because if Doctor Doom's going to set up this world, maybe Spider-Man finds out this world isn't real, and then he goes after Doctor Doom, but it's kind of pointless. In an electrifying fight sequence that promises to be one of the highlights of the movie, which again would make sense. But there's so many stories, theories, rumors, leaks about this movie that's all really not lining up. Spider-Man 4 is reportedly set to pave the way for a street level to a multiversal spanning adventure, with Kingpin and Daredevil making their highly anticipated returns in this film. Well, that's kind of capped, because Kingpin and Daredevil are literally going to be in a Daredevil series before this movie even comes out. And there's a lot of casting names appearing for who could be Gwen Stacy, but that's neither here or there. To be honest, it really isn't. And there's a report out there that Spider-Man 4 is going to be delayed by some random scooper, reckons it's not going to meet the mandate of July 2026, because filming reportedly will be delayed till the end of 2025, 2026. But like I say, I'm not really going to talk about the credibility of scoopers anymore, because it's neither here or there. But it would be wild. I don't know how Null would feature in it. Maybe if Spider-Man does die temporarily, but then the Venom symbiote would have to attach to Spider-Man before he dies in order to create a codex. Maybe that's how they can introduce Null. But like I keep saying, Null will be freaking stuck in Clintar still. He's not going to be able to get out of Clintar unless the xenophage or some variation of that actually, get the codex to Null. Like he can't just randomly escape. So as we know, reports started off of Spider-Man 4 being titled A King in Black, and then there's titles with Spider-Man 4 would be A New Day. And then there's so many reports saying that Scorpion will actually be the overall villain. There's so many misleading reports that I love this stuff. I love speculation. I love accumulation. It's really good. Theories are better than actually knowing what's really happening. So Venom 3 has crossed the $430 million box office worldwide with a film budget of 120. So it's already made more money than most Marvel movies have recently. So the Venom storyline and the Venom characters are not going anywhere because Sony received, wow, Venom 3, again, made money. And then there's reports saying Tom Holland's Spider-Man and the Venom symbiote are reportedly to play a pivotal role in Avengers sequels. Well, that's pretty much just following the comic book storyline, is it not? It goes on to say here, bringing their unique bond and abilities to the forefront of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the most epic battle yet. The problem here is, yes, Sony and Marvel do work together, but Sony has the last frickin' say. It really does. Sony has the last say because it's their property. Thanos appeared in 5 projects during the Infinity Saga. If Doom appears in Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 4, Avengers 5 and 6, possibly one other project between that, he'd match Thanos' appearances. Doesn't really need to if it's a good story. So like always, guys, let us know. What do you think? Are we finally getting Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 4? Is Spider-Man 4 going to be set in a new world that Dr. Doom's going to create and trick Peter Parker into thinking it's a perfect world where all his friends know exactly who he is? Because this spell it still needs to be broken, or else MJ and Ned, etc., they're not going to have a freaking clue who he really is because their memories would have been wiped. Or is Doom going to, Bamos Chico that and, eradicate the whole spell? We don't know. And obviously, breaking the spell could cause an incursion or problems anyway. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram, @Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, and I will catch ya in another video very soon. Catch ya later.